You ate lunch. It was a good lunch, a real one, the kind you would have described as healthy at any point in your life. And by 4 in the afternoon, you are standing in your pantry wondering why you are hungry again. For years, the explanation offered to women in midlife has been some version of your metabolism slowed down or it's your hormones now. Both of those ideas contain some truth, but neither one necessarily tells you what to do on a Tuesday afternoon. There is another piece of this conversation that deserves attention. Sometimes the issue may not simply be how much you are eating. It may also be whether your meals contain enough of a particularly satiating nutrient, protein. When the protein density of the diet is relatively low, some research suggests that people may continue eating more total food in an effort to meet their protein needs. Researchers have a name for this idea. They call it protein leverage. Let me show you what protein leverage is, why getting enough protein may become increasingly important as we age, and what the evidence actually supports doing about it. Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the Star Wellness Solutions channel. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful, evidence-based content designed to improve your health, strengthen your mindset, and support you on your wellness journey. By subscribing, you also become part of a growing community committed to healing, transformation, and lasting well-being. Thank you for being here. And remember, consistency beats intensity. Hi, I'm Ida Estelle. I am a registered nurse and I teach the alignment method. 3 pillars: move, regulate, identity. Regulate is everything that influences the signals your body is sending you, your hormones, what you eat, your sleep, your stress, and your nervous system. Today's conversation lives mostly in the regulate pillar because we're talking about nutrition, hunger signals, and how our bodies respond to protein. But move matters too because resistance training works alongside protein to help support our energy levels, muscle retention, strength, and healthy aging. 3 things before we start. This is general education, not medical advice, and it is not a diagnosis. I am going to reference protein intake ranges that appear in research and professional consensus statements, but the right amount for you depends on your individual circumstances and should be discussed with your healthcare provider. That is especially important if you have kidney disease or reduced kidney function, where protein intake requires individualized clinical guidance. Second, if food has become a source of distress for you, if you are regularly eating past discomfort, hiding your eating, or thinking about food in a way that is taking over your day, that deserves real support. And third, the usual. Take what serves you, leave the rest. Human appetite does not necessarily respond to all 3 macronutrients in exactly the same way, and that may explain more than we once realized. 2 researchers, Stephen Simpson and David Raubenheimer, proposed something they called the protein leverage hypothesis. The basic idea is this: humans appear to have a meaningful biological drive to obtain adequate protein. When the percentage of protein in the diet becomes lower, people may compensate by eating more total food and therefore more total energy in an attempt to reach their protein needs. Protein in this model is the nutrient being defended. Additional calories can come along for the ride. Researchers have tested this idea under controlled conditions. In one randomized trial, participants were given diets designed to be similar in palatability and variety, but different in protein density. Approximately 10%, 15%, and 25% of total energy. Participants consuming the lowest protein diet ate more total energy than those consuming the 15% protein diet. They were not instructed to overeat. They simply consumed more. A separate controlled study approached the question from another direction. Researchers increased participants' protein intake from 15% to 30% of total energy, held carbohydrate relatively constant, and then allowed them to eat as much as they wanted. Average energy intake eventually dropped spontaneously by about 440 calories per day. Nobody was being instructed to count calories during that phase. Satiety appeared to change. But I want to be very clear about the state of this science. Protein leverage is still a hypothesis. Researchers continue to debate how large the effect is and how much it contributes to overeating in the real world. Food processing, energy density, palatability, fiber, sleep, stress, and many other factors also influence how much we eat. What is considerably less controversial is the narrower point. Protein tends to be highly satiating, and higher protein eating patterns can increase fullness and, in some circumstances, reduce spontaneous energy intake, which means that 4 o'clock pantry visit is not automatically a character flaw. Your lunch simply may not have kept you satisfied for very long. One biological signal that changes when protein intake is restricted is a hormone called FGF21. FGF21 is produced largely by the liver. For years, researchers studied it in the context of fasting, metabolism, and energy restriction. Then something interesting became more clear. Human studies have shown that restricting dietary protein can substantially increase circulating FGF21. Animal studies have gone even further, suggesting that FGF21 can communicate with the brain and influence feeding behavior, including preference for protein. The human picture is not yet as complete, so I do not want to tell you that FGF21 is a little alarm inside your body screaming, "Go eat protein." Biology is rarely that simple. But the research does tell us something important. The body can detect and respond to changes in protein availability. This is where wellness content can go off the rails. This signal does not lock your fat cells. There is no metabolic gate that suddenly closes. Your body does not enter some mysterious fat storage mode simply because you missed a protein target. That claim is not supported by the research. What may happen is quieter. Low protein eating patterns can influence appetite and food intake, which over time may affect total energy consumption. That is very different from claiming that protein deficiency directly switches your body into fat storage mode, and that distinction matters. There are several reasons protein deserves a closer look as we move through midlife and into older adulthood. The first is something called anabolic resistance. Muscle tissue is constantly being broken down and rebuilt. Eating protein provides amino acids that support the rebuilding process, while resistance exercise provides a powerful signal telling muscle tissue to adapt. As we age, however, the muscle building response to a given protein dose can become less robust. One well-cited dose-response analysis in healthy older men estimated that the amount of protein required per meal to maximize the muscle protein synthesis response was approximately 2/3 higher than the estimated amount in younger men. That does not mean every older adult needs exactly that amount, and that particular study should not be treated as a prescription for women. But it helps illustrate something important. The response of aging muscle to protein can change. The second piece is the menopause transition itself. Data from the SWAN study, which followed women longitudinally through this period, found that body composition changes accelerated around the final menstrual period. Fat mass increased while lean mass declined during this window, even though changes in overall body weight did not always tell the complete story. That is one reason the mirror, how your clothes fit, and the scale may seem to be telling you different things. Body weight and body composition are not the same measurement. The third issue is distribution. Many people consume relatively little protein at breakfast, somewhat more at lunch, and the largest portion at dinner. One controlled study found that distributing the same total amount of protein more evenly across 3 meals resulted in greater 24-hour muscle protein synthesis than consuming most of that protein at dinner. However, research on the ideal protein distribution is still evolving, and later studies have not produced perfectly consistent results. So the message is not that protein eaten at dinner is wasted. It isn't. The more useful takeaway is that spreading meaningful sources of protein across the day may provide several opportunities to stimulate muscle protein synthesis instead of relying on one meal to do nearly all the work. Put these pieces together and midlife starts to make more sense. Your body has not necessarily stopped working, but the same habits you had decades ago may be interacting with a body that is changing. The recommended dietary allowance for protein is approximately 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight per day for healthy adults. That number is frequently misunderstood. The RDA is designed to meet the protein requirements of nearly all healthy adults. What it was not specifically designed to tell us is the amount that may best support outcomes such as preserving muscle during aging, maximizing satiety, or supporting body composition during weight loss. Professional groups looking specifically at older adults have proposed higher amounts in many circumstances, commonly around 1.0 to 1.2 grams per kilogram per day for healthy older adults. Some research involving active adults, resistance training, or weight management evaluates higher protein patterns around 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram per day. I am giving you the research landscape. I am not prescribing a number for you. Where you land depends on your age, body size, activity, total calorie intake, medical history, and other factors. And if you have kidney disease or impaired kidney function, individualized guidance from your healthcare professional is particularly important. If nearly all of your protein currently arrives at dinner, consider moving some of it earlier in the day. Breakfast is often where people have the largest gap. You do not have to turn every meal into a math problem. It can be as simple as asking, where is the protein in this meal? Research on the perfect distribution is still evolving, but spreading protein across meals can give your muscles repeated opportunities to respond throughout the day. Protein provides raw material. Resistance training provides the stimulus telling muscle tissue that it needs to adapt. A large meta-analysis found that protein supplementation produced additional improvements in muscle mass and strength when combined with resistance training, and that last part matters. Combined with resistance training, this is the move pillar doing real work, and this is not primarily about burning calories. Regular resistance exercise can help preserve muscle, strength, physical function, and the capacity you want to carry into later life. Current physical activity guidance recommends muscle strengthening activities on at least 2 days per week. Body weight counts, resistance bands count, dumbbells count, machines count. Start where you are. If you increase the protein content of meals that previously left you hungry, one of the first things you may notice is greater fullness. Maybe that 4 o'clock pantry trip becomes less urgent. Maybe breakfast carries you farther into the morning. Maybe you simply feel more satisfied after eating. That does not prove that protein leverage caused the change. It tells you something much more practical. The meal may be working better for you. That is useful feedback, and it can appear long before the scale changes. Protein is not a complete solution to midlife body composition changes, and anyone selling it that way is overselling it. It will not reverse the hormonal changes of the menopause transition. It will not compensate for chronically inadequate sleep, which can influence appetite and metabolic health on its own. It does not override total energy intake. You can absolutely consume more energy than your body needs while eating a high protein diet. And more protein is not automatically better. At some point, continually adding more protein can begin displacing other foods your body also needs, including fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, healthy fats, and dietary fiber. There is also a version of this conversation that turns into obsession, and I want to name it: tracking every gram, treating every meal like a math equation, feeling as if you failed because you did not hit a number. That is not where I want this conversation to take you. The intervention here is actually quite modest. Make sure protein has a meaningful place in your diet. Consider spreading your protein-containing foods throughout the day. Use your muscles regularly, and pay attention to whether your meals leave you feeling satisfied, energized, and supported. That is the whole thing. It is not a hack. It is an adjustment. Here is what I want you to take from this. The story women are often told about midlife weight is that their body suddenly turned against them, that it broke, that it slowed down, that their hormones ruined everything. And underneath that story can be another assumption, that hunger is simply a discipline problem you are failing to control. The science gives us a more useful way to look at it. Hunger is information. Sometimes it is influenced by how much you ate, sometimes by what you ate, sometimes by sleep, stress, hormonal changes, habit, environment, and sometimes the composition of the meal, including its protein content, may influence how satisfied you feel afterward. That is an identity shift as much as a nutrition one. You do not have to automatically interpret hunger as evidence of weak willpower. You can become curious about what your body may be telling you and then respond with intention rather than punishment. Take what serves you, leave the rest. Consistency beats intensity every time. If you want the regulation side of this, the sleep, stress, and nervous system piece that sits alongside nutrition, my free cortisol reset checklist walks through it in order. The link is below. And if this video helped you understand your body a little differently, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with another woman who needs to hear this message. I will see you in the next video.